Hey there, this is Monica King from InnovatorsBox, and a question I have for you is, when was the last time you spent some time with people who thinks differently than you?
I grew up in a very diverse neighborhood and community in metropolitan Phoenix, Arizona, and that was really the formative exposure to all different ways of thinking.
For young people today, it's very important that we learn more about each other, about how we ended up where we are. And when we do that, we tend to understand why certain people think the way they think or react the way they react. And it creates mutual respect.
There was a quote that someone said once that really hit me hard. It was an executive creative director that I was working with, and someone had said, "Don't give that idea away. That's billable." And the executive creative director said, "Ideas are everywhere, and you should give them freely because there's always more of them. But ideas that help people, you're obligated to share that." And so I think that really inspired me.
And everybody's different. So I hope you're empathetic to the fact that we all come from different situations. And then a mom with kids at home is going to have a different way to learn how to remote work than somebody who's single, living at home by himself.
I don't know what I would be doing. I physically am probably incapable of like shoving down my emotions. It would have exploded at some point. And I was able to take so many of those learnings and apply it to my clients. It was this amazing thing where I was able to actually become a better coach as a result of this experience.
Is one of the most important things in life, which is just the simple power of showing up for people that you care about, or showing up for your people, or showing up for people in general, even people you don't know. That's, I think, is at the heart of humanity.
What I would think is a skill set that is important, moving forward, is to be able to find, small actions or small impacts that can be made that, we may not have all of the answers or we may not have all of the solutions, but we can make progress if we can take those small steps forward.
This experience will definitely teach something for our next generation to be ready for uncertain times. So the leadership that we need to build in next generation is very critical to understand, from entrepreneurs to government and presidents. Everybody needs to have this skill of handling uncertain times.
The skill of patience, and how that at this time has really tested my patience, both professionally and at home.
Any kind of skill where you're going to learn how to understand different cultures, understand how different issues impact each other.
But I've definitely been having to practice that almost spiritual discipline of just being present in today, being grateful for what I have today, and not worrying about tomorrow, and being okay not planning for tomorrow.
Okay, can we spot something or a gap, and can we use whatever we have, whatever humble tools that we have to support that? And so I think those things, kind of help to stay grounded. I've just seen that sometimes you just have to, you keep your energy or your mental energy up, and then you kind of welcome the things that come your way a little bit.
I think communication is one of the biggest skills that people need. And, when you can't communicate with your team effectively and on the level that they understand and appreciate, and which is inspiring, you're not going to get the results that you need as a company or as a continent or even a simple city, So
Within the past 4 months, the world has been topsy-turvy and turned around. But the plates are quite different, and the reality is a lot more complicated than we think when we enter into different circles of realities.
You gotta see people as people. You gotta, sometimes people lack access to the same stuff that the rest of us do. And I think spreading a little love in whatever form, I see food as a form of love, giving someone a meal or making sure that people have access to a meal, or making sure that there's some sort of regularity to their human rights, is an act of love.
I'm making an effort to reach out to people to just talk with them about basic everyday things, right? And at the same time, I find myself understanding them better as people, not as a customer or as someone I do business with. And I think that's important because a lot of times I think we all get into this where we interact with people on a business level, and that's how we know them. And that's the face we see, the facade we see. But behind it, they're people trying to live their life.
We think more about each other as a society, that we have more of a understanding that we're all in this together, and our kind of codependency, and that one thing in one country, one part of the world affects another, and that we're all connected.
Let us come together and create a food bank where every day we feed, people who are now without any form of employment because of this situation. So a lot of people within the community came together and made donations, and I was one of the volunteers who was there every day.
And reflect on the fact that there is something that transcends the temporal suffering of the moment, and that is that our own internal world, the love that we share with the people we care about, the things that give us a deeper sense of purpose and meaning, our personal why, if you will. Those are the questions that I think are helpful for all of us to reflect on when the world around us is scary and we can't necessarily change the conditions.
Yeah, I think what's getting me through is really being able to see the difference that we are able to make in the relatively small amount of lives that we touch, but like the families that we serve, typically we're finding a new creative way to keep serving them. And in the service industry, that's like what it's all about, right? It's kind of like the end goal is to make sure people feel a sense of comfort or a sense of safety or a sense of like belonging around a table.
Doing Shabbat, so having Shabbat candles, which is the Jewish Sabbath, the end of the week, lighting candles on Friday evening, to Zoom invite. We've had 10, 20 people on the call. Sometimes we've had 30 or 40, and we've done it every week now, I think for about 7 or 8 weeks, maybe even 9 weeks. And it feels good and it's nice. It marks the end of the week, the beginning of the weekend, and it's a chance to take a breath and slow down. We do like a little simple, short meditation at the beginning, and it just feels really good.
When you hear these stories, do you have any new questions that come to mind? Are these some of the questions that you've raised in your circle of perspective? And if not, can we take a moment and take a step back and wonder, why not? What can I do now at least so that I can be more mindful and think about what can I learn more? And, I wonder what else? What else can I be more curious about? Because the world is ever more connected and complicated, and sometimes we kind of forget about that because we just like to stay comfortable in our circle. So I challenge you, hopefully by watching this, that you encourage yourself to join different circles, learn something new, and find a way to be more innovative.